What's going on, Call of Duty fans, and welcome back to episode number 9 of Around the CDL. Alex and Preston here with me as always. Boys, how are we feeling? But matches are finally back.
Yeah, I mean, matches are back. We only got a little taste of some matches, a little short week. But, I'm glad COD's back. Had some sick matches. Got our first little tidbit of some Rio gameplay, so that was sick. Absolutely love that map. I love playing it and I love watching it. So, great addition there. Yeah, I'm just happy to be back. And a little pre-warning, I'm sorry if I look weird or sound weird. I'm having some horrible PC issues at the moment, and I'm currently using my Mac as my microphone and my camera. So, Godspeed, and just bear with me. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't personally able to watch matches directly live because I was at a conference in Oregon, but I was able to go back and watch most of them. Yeah, I mean, great matches overall. Some great. I don't like again. This 5-week qualifying is not it. We need to make it shorter. We need to have more matches, and there's no reason why we should be having 2 matches on a certain day. Like that's just absolutely outrageous. Nonetheless, great week of matches coming up, and that we just had. But it's just great to have COD back 1 week closer to Major 2 in Miami, which I'm very excited for.
Hell yeah. So we can start it off by going through what happened week 1, kind of touching on some of these matches. On Friday, we saw Ultra 3-0 Heretics, and we saw the Subliners reverse sweep the Ravens. Our first ever 2-match CDL day. Kind of weird, but I guess it is what it is. I mean, for me, honestly, Heretics, they got to figure something out there. They won one map all weekend between. I mean, they played FaZe and Ultra, so like that. I mean, it is what it is. You're playing the 2 best teams, but New York still looks a little shaky to me. I mean, they were able to reverse sweep, which is tippable for sure, but definitely like it was an interesting first day with kind of a pretty dominant series from Ultra, and then a shaky New York that was still able to get a reverse sweep.
I'll give Heretics a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Right, new team, play the 2 best teams right now, so we'll give them a little leeway. If they come in this week and I think they play LAT. If
play
they
Vegas first and then LAT.
Okay, so if they look shaky against those 2 teams, they're chalked. I mean, immediately they're chalked because they didn't really look great, like I said. But I'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because it was Ultra and FaZe. But they need a bounce back week. These are 2 beatable teams this week in Vegas and LAT. They probably should win both of these, but we'll see. I mean, Vegas eliminated them from Major 1, so but it's brutal for those guys. They got something to figure out and they got to do it quick. As far as New York goes, I don't know, man. I don't know with these guys. One hand, it's like I have all the faith in the world in these guys that they're gonna put it together. On the other hand, I'm like these guys don't look like they are top 4 right now, and I don't know how to feel. I'm conflicted because part of me is like these guys can play. I mean, they're world champs. They'll put it together. And then the other part of me actually watches, and I'm like, these guys are not competing with any of the top 3 teams. I mean, they're just not. They're not. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just know that they went 2-0, but they beat Ravens and
Surge.
Who else did they? Surge. Okay, so I mean,
2 of the bottom
congrats.
3 teams probably.
Congratulations. You barely beat Carolina, and you beat a brand new Surge team that just dropped their best player. So I need more out of them as well. But that's really about those are like the major things. You kind of touched on them already. Nothing else really like stood out to me that was astronomically different, other than Boston looked good. Boston looked pretty good for their first match. ASIM seems to set a little bit more of a consistent slaying pace than Cap did. Cap obviously is an animal on the map, setting pace and just nonstop, just left sticking all over the place. But ASIM looked like he did that at a little more controlled speed. That also made a little bit more sense in terms of gameplay wise. I mean, he played pretty well for his first match. So shout out Boston, shout out ASIM. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Miami, tough call for them. Again, as we've all been saying, it's tough to play the 2 best teams in the game, your first 2 matches with the new team. I mean, Toronto absolutely still look like the best team in the league, hands down. Scrap bringing out the sub for against that against Miami was something to see. I mean, he was absolutely disgusting. Eric Boom not having the greatest series on his first match. I think he went like -18, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, again, as we said, new team going against probably, I mean, yeah, not probably the two best teams in the league. It's just tough for them, honestly. You can't just gotta feel for them. But yeah, I mean that Carolina and New York series, I mean when Carolina went up 2-0, if I picked Subliners to win, I think Game 5, if I'm not mistaken, in my pick'ems. By the way, my pick'ems were chalk because I didn't save them, so that's a big oopsie on me. But yeah, I mean, it honestly, I truly believe if Kismet doesn't go off like how he goes plus 27 for the whole series, I don't think New York win the series. Like Kismet was literally the reason why they were in this game. He literally went positive every game for them, and nobody else did. Everyone at least had one negative game. I mean, them at 4, Skies had like almost 30. But I truly believe if Kismet doesn't drop 101 kills or 100 kills or however many kills he dropped, he doesn't, or like New York does not win this series. Yeah, and as Preston said, I mean, they played a Surge team that dropped their best player. And, Brizzy didn't have the best series, but again, they dropped their best player. And of course, they're going to win 3-0 because that team isn't really built like that without Illy, honestly. Hook drops a 0.7, or Alec drops a 0.7, Breezy drops a 0.7. I mean, you're not going to win against even a struggling subliners with those numbers. So, I mean, I picked Gorillas to win over LAG. LAG showed us something. Shout out to Tash for flicking everyone off who doubted that team.
That was
who
funny.
doubted that team. So, shout out to him for doing that. And, shout out to LAG or for Legion for showing us that this roster change was for the better. I know in his post game conference he said that the reason they dropped Sandy wasn't gameplay related; it was more so like team chemistry related, which I'm pretty sure Preston said something like that in our last podcast. So clearly it wasn't gameplay related; it was clearly team chemistry, stuff like that was impacting the team. So if that's what they need to do to win games, and hey, that's what they need to do. Toronto versus Rocker, that was really interesting. Rocker almost made it happen. I think Rocker is definitely solidified themselves as the 4th best team right now in the CDL. Because I mean, taking Ultra to the Game 5 even after losing the HP, or the first HP pretty convincingly, and then losing I believe the S&D, the first S&D was round 11. They could have very well almost won this game if they would have won that S&D, won the control, and then won the hard point. But yeah, I mean, typical out of them. They like I said, they've definitely solidified themselves as the 4th best team currently. And then OpTic versus Thieves. Sorry, Jake, that was pretty much slammage out of the boys. Yeah, kind of tip it to Thieves though. Yeah, it's a new team. They have to find their groove. So not your best thing to go against OpTic Texas.
It's like a fundamental thing with New York, I'm pretty sure, right? Because we saw that map on Subbase. There was zero reason they lost that map. And it just feels like there's a disconnect somewhere on the team where somebody needs to be that selfless player that just always is playing for the win versus stats. You have Sib, who's an amazing slayer and is one of the best in the league right now doing what he does. You have Hydra, who's always been an amazing slayer, and Skies is absolutely putting up numbers. But besides Kids, who in this game in particular, you have to have 2 people that are willing to play selfless, because this game is all about map control, map pressure. You can't have 3 people slaying nonstop and only one person focusing on Hill. And there was a time where Hydra could have won the game. I mean, they were up by 30-some points on P1. Hydra could have won the game, and instead of just sitting there and playing P1 time, while somebody was literally top 3, he ran into bottom comms and did nothing for 15 seconds. Didn't get a single kill, did absolutely nothing, and they ended up losing the map. Now they won the series, so I mean, hindsight says whatever, who cares? But that's not always going to happen. And also hindsight says that when that happens in a tournament, if you're playing against a good team, you're going to lose the series. You can't do that. You have to be fundamentally sound. Good teams that win series consistently and good teams that win series against other good teams are fundamentally sound. How many series do you see the FaZe win that they might not be slaying or killing or playing their best, but they're playing fundamentally sound and they still win? How many series do you see where Insight is doing everything perfectly on the map because he is fundamentally sound? You have to be fundamentally sound, and they are lacking it severely right now. I'm not going to just sit here and harp on them too much. I'm just saying we are holding these guys to high standards because they deserve to be held to those high standards, but they need to show me something. They got rid of a player that plays selflessly all the time, and now they don't have that player anymore, and it is showing. They don't have that player anymore, and somebody needs to step up and be that player. I don't know who, but somebody has to be.
Yeah, losing Priesta is showing more and more as time goes on. I still think New York is a good team, and I still think they have the capability of doing it. But like you're saying, someone's probably going to have to change their play style to sort of sit back in the slaying department a little bit maybe and just sort of let the other guys put in that work. Because, I mean, Priest is a fast-paced player, and he's obviously capable of slaying. We've seen him do it from time to time where he'll have a massive map or a massive series. But he's the glue guy, you know, and that's what everyone always calls him. But it's true because he's willing to do whatever. He's willing to let his teammates be the stars. And I mean, there's a reason he was the one who got dropped on that team and was anyone else because he let them be the stars. And he's the one who kind of caught the fall for whatever reason you would take the fall after winning champs, you know. But New York there's something they got to figure out over there. And whether it's something the coaches need to work on with them or they are, and they're just not translating in game. I hope they figure it out because New York is a fun team when they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's talk about LA Thieves OpTic. All right, I gotta say my piece as I don't have an LA t-shirt on today, surprisingly. But okay, listen. First things first. They're playing OpTic Texas, first match of the new team. Like, I'm not going to say we got to blow it up again, obviously, because it's a tough series versus with the new team. But the fact that we really didn't look any better, in my opinion, with this squad compared to the last one, we lost by over 125 points in hardpoint. So that one hardpoint win is still standing by itself because this team, at least on Rio, did not look like they were going to be competing. But like I said, OpTic is a top 3 hardpoint team. Karachi SND, we plant the bomb and then we have no post plan set up. I don't know what the hell was going on there. I think they planted the bomb like 3 different offensive rounds. And they lost every single time. OpTic just retook them with no problem. Like, almost easy retakes, too. Like, still three guys alive on OpTic sort of thing after we got first blood. So, I don't even know what to say about that. And then Invasion, honestly, they should have won. There were multiple rounds where Afro was on the point, literally, like, stopping the clock. And he was, like, un-ADSing. Like, he was holding the spot, the only spot that OpTic could push him from. And he would just like move or un-ADS right as, I mean, it's bad timing, but it's like, just hold your trigger, dude. Hold the irons. Like, what are we moving for? It was pissing me off on the broadcast that I was watching, but it's just like, I'm going to come slack because it was their first match against a very good team, but they genuinely looked the same team. The only thing we looked good on was Invasion Control, which is literally no different. It was the only good map we had in Major 1. So something needs to happen over there where, I don't know. Something needs to happen over there. I'd bring Joe DeCease back. I said to Preston before we started the pod, like, if Afro plays bad, bring Joe in. If Joe plays bad, just bring Afro right back in. I don't care, bro. Or pick up a Challengers player and give him a chance, a rookie. Because it's just like, something has to change. You can't be losing by over 100 points in HP. Like, at least keep it close, for the love of God. We didn't rotate once. Okay, sorry, rant's over. You guys can give me your feedback now.
I mean, honestly, I'm going to say, and CDL Scream Intel tweeted this as well. Rio, very close quarters, sub-map-esque.
Mm-hmm.
That boy Shotzi was looking like butter.
That's facts.
Around the map. That man was moving and grooving, getting everywhere he needs to go. And again, as we said, when there's a map that's specifically SMG dominated, Shotzi is always going to dominate. And that's exactly what he did. He went +10, dropped almost 30, and OpTic won that map pretty convincingly.
pretty convincingly.
I mean,
I don't even think LAT showed up for that map. I think we were sleeping during map 1.
give it, probably first time nerves to, play in the league, cramp going, dropping a 0.6, not the best, but nonetheless, the boys played really well. I mean, everyone went positive. Dashy went positive, had the highest KD 1.25. So yeah, I mean, they played really well. I mean, that invasion control again, I do think it could have gone either way. There were a few rounds where OpTic was throwing a little bit, and I was like, "What are we doing? Why are we doing this?" But I mean, overall, they played really well. Kenny played great in control, as he always for some reason does. He loves control for some reason. It's just his game mode. He's just always going off. But yeah, the boys played great. So I mean, nothing much to say. Sorry to LA Thieves. I truly hope that they get better with this new roster, because I truly want to see them do something, honestly.
Yeah, I have a couple things. Number one, I'm not going to stress too much over the LAT S&D, because S&D is a game mode that comes with time, and this is a brand new team. So by no means am I expecting a team to make 1 or 2 roster moves and come in and just absolutely be incredible in S&D, especially when they are 5, 6, 7 weeks behind every other team in the league. Well, a majority of other teams in the league. I'm not expecting that to happen. So 6-3, not great, obviously, and a lot of stuff needed to be fixed, like post plants or situationals or man advantages that they threw away. But I do think that those will iron out over time. 2, Joe Deceives has to be back in the lineup for Afro. I'm done with this guy. This guy's gotten one too many chances for me. I don't know what it is. We know that the talent that this man can show, he just doesn't show it nearly consistently enough. And it's really upsetting because when he is on his game, man, he is disgusting. But we just don't see it nearly enough to where it can be a consistent factor in a league. He's never going to be a winner because he's never consistent enough. And you are going to get times where he is absolutely frying in a tournament and they get top 3. We saw it in London. Vanguard, he was frying, they got top 3 once. We saw it in Minnesota, he was frying, they got top 3 once. But that's it. None of his teams ever show consistency because he's never ever consistent. So I'm done giving this guy credit for he's nasty rarely. But when he's nasty, he's nasty. You just need to find the consistency. I would rather him put up 1.0s the whole entire time than 1.3 once every 6 weeks. I mean, the guy's just got to find something. Put some Joe Deceives in there. I think that'll fix that at least a little bit. 3, what was the thought process on the vetoes? How the hell did Rio make it in the map set? Respectfully, there is not a chance in hell OpTic was losing that map 1. Shotzi and Pred are not losing to a Crep and Afro duo on Rio. I mean, respectfully. There are a very few handful of teams in the CDL that will beat them on that map, and it is not LAT. I mean, I don't understand. Listen, if you're there to test a new map, I respect it. Map pool, and you want to diversify your map pool. I get it. It's a good idea. Not against OpTic, not against Toronto, not against FaZe.
Not against anyone they play this split, honestly.
Do it against Carolina, do it against Surge, do it against even Heretics if you want a little challenge. You don't do it against OpTic, and you don't do it against the 2 teams that are better than them right now. That was an absolute brain-dead decision made on whoever does the vetoes. So those are my 3 takes. I'm not looking into it too much. It's an online league match. But like you said, I expected them to look a little bit better, and they kind of didn't. They lost their best map, which was enough for me. Invasion control has been their thing, and they looked okay on it. They didn't look great on that either. So it's okay. It's match 1, but it doesn't get any easier for them this road. They have the hardest schedule by far. They play Toronto and FaZe, and I think they play Minnesota. Do they play Minnesota as well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you play all 4 of the top 4 teams right now. This is a brutal stage. They need a win. They need 2 wins in a row next. I think they play Heretics coming up, and I think they play one other team that they can beat coming up. I forget who it is.
Legion. They play on the
Okay.
10th of March.
If they get any losses out of those 2 matches, they're in losers again. I'm not even giving them a chance to
Even if
make
they
winners.
win those two, they're in losers. I think they go 2-5.
If they win those 2 matches, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they can get one upset in their remaining 4 matches. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. That's a mistake on my end, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They need these 2 wins. Desperately need these 2 wins. If they lose either one of these 2 matches, this team is done. And I think if you lose either one, the first match that you lose of these next 2 matches coming out, you sub out Afro. That's just my opinion. I don't think you wait. It's a short season. The longer you wait, we're already, before you know it, halfway done with the season. As soon as Major 2 happens, we're halfway done. So the longer you wait, the less chance you have of making that end game. And I think they will be making a mistake if they just sit on this any longer.
Also, technically, they play Miami, and then they play Minnesota, and then they play Legion. So
okay, yeah.
Minnesota's right smack in the middle of that.
If they somehow beat Minnesota, if they get 3 wins, they should be feeling okay. Seriously, I'm not. That's me being optimistic. Really, if they get 3 wins to split, they should be feeling okay. I don't think they will. I don't know, man. It sucks because I love Dan.
Yeah, he's been good.
They just don't look good. They don't look good. He looks good, but they don't look good.
Well, it is what it is. We're going to talk about Thieves a little bit more later. One of our community questions is kind of touching on them. But for now, let's hop into our pick'ems for next week. Maybe
I'm actually going to save them this time.
Who's going to save them? You're going to save them.
I'm actually going to save them this time.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Don't forget. All right, we actually have 3 matches on Friday. Hooray! Let's go CDL. You guys are great. We're starting off with Boston versus New York. New York is 76% favored by the fans.
In Boston 3-2.
Damn. All right.
Again, nothing that Subliner showed me impressed me. If Kismet doesn't go off against Ravens, that's Ravens will win that series, in my opinion. Boston looked relatively good against, who did they play? Ravens. Oh, they played Ravens. No, yeah, they played Ravens. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna just take Boston. I don't know. Something in my gut is telling me ASIM's gonna pop off.
Yeah, I'll go Boston. I'll go Boston 3-1. I think New York look a little bit better at S&D right now. But they played the same team, and Boston looked much better against that team than New York did. Now, that doesn't always happen like that. I know head-to-head matchups are not a great way to look at series. But like I said, I need to see something from New York again in order for me to put any confidence in them. I'm not confident in this team at all. And I like the way that Boston looked. So I'll go 3-1 Boston. I think maybe New York wins the S&D.
I guess I'm the outlier here. I'm going to go New York 3-2. I think, I think New York at the end of the day is still a good team. They just have shown that they are very vulnerable at times. I still think they're better at search and destroy, which is why I think if it goes 5, which is what I'm predicting, they would win. We only saw 1 match of the new Boston team. They looked solid, but they also played Ravens. I mean, New York, I guess, had the reverse sweep Ravens, and they beat Surge. So not really a lot you could say about these 2 teams. Like, not a lot of weight you can hold in their matches last week. But I'm just gonna give New York the benefit of the doubt because, to be fair, they are 2-0 right now in this split. So I'm gonna give them the win there. Then we have our double point scuff match: OpTic Texas versus Minnesota Rocker. A battle of 3 and 4. Honestly, you read this and you're like, it's OpTic versus Rocker, like whatever. But when you think about it, like Rocker is the 4th best team. We talk about how they solidified that spot. Like this is actually kind of a banger of a match.
Right.
With that being said, I'm gonna go personally. Let me look at the fan rankings first. It's 92.5% OpTic. I'm still gonna go OpTic. I'm gonna go 3-1. I think Minnesota could probably win the SND or maybe the control. But I still think OpTic is a level above Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also going to go OpTic 3-1. As you said, I think, I got to give them at least a game, knowing that they took Toronto to a game 5. So
First game 5 for Toronto, by the way, this season.
Yeah, and I think they also snapped their hardpoint streak as well. So So no doubt about it. Like I don't doubt if this game probably goes to game 5, but just regardless, I think the boys closed it out in 4. I'm with you on the part that they either take the S&D or the control, because even though our S&D has looked, I mean, I don't want to say it looks better. We beat Thieves. Hopefully it looks better throughout this split. But yeah, I'm taking OpTic 3-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna match you guys. I'll go OpTic 3-1. I do really think this could be like a 3-0 OpTic. I think OpTic matches up head to head very well against Minnesota personally, in every aspect. So I do think that this could be a 3-0. But I'll give Minnesota a map because they've been looking really, really good and they've impressed me a lot. So I'll give them a map. I don't know which. Probably either one of the controller S&D. I don't think they'll beat OpTic in a hard point. So I'll go one of the map 2 or 3. But I don't think this will be a blowout 3-1 by any means because Minnesota is no throwover. These guys are looking really, really good. So I think it'll be a close 3-1.
Nice. So we're all in agreement. And then we have Las Vegas Legion versus the Miami Heretics to end off Friday. The fans are nearly 70% the way of Miami. I'm gonna continue riding the Vegas train. I think they really surprised people last week. Miami still looks shaky. I think Attach is that guy right now. I mean, this whole season. So I'm gonna give it to him. I don't really know what to go, honestly, here. 3-1, 3-2. It doesn't really make a difference to me. I'll go 3-2, but I'm gonna keep riding with Vegas until they lose.
Agree. I'm gonna ride with you. I'm gonna get on the Vegas Legion after Attach flipped me off. I gotta tip it to him. I'm taking Vegas 3-2. I think Miami having really tough matches, the first 2 against FaZe and Ultra. I think they match up pretty well with Vegas. I think it'll be a close game. I think Eric Boom will show us something, but I still think Vegas pull it out 3-2.
I'm gonna go Vegas 3-0. They played on LAN. Vegas 3-0'd them. Now, I mean, granted, that was a rough weekend for Miami. Anything can happen, but I would argue that Miami looks worse than they did at that moment, and Vegas looks better than they did at that moment. So I could very realistically see this being a 3-0. And I was questioning the roster decision heavily because I don't believe that Standy deserved to be dropped for gameplay reasons. But Gio looks good, man. He looked good in his first series. I don't know what it is. It's just the team looked better overall. The pacing looked better. When we listened in, the comms sounded really, really clean and precise. And everything just seemed more fluent. Like the map was just making more sense for them. So I don't know if it was just a one-man chemistry thing or what, but they look good. I'm not going to look too much into Vegas just yet because they only played one series. But I will give them the pretty convincing win in this series 3-0.
I like it. Yeah, no, they did look much better, and Purge looks more comfortable on that more second sub, especially I believe they did play, or no, they played Karachi, I think it was, and he was running around with a sub, and he looked better. I was going to say Rio, but I think it was Karachi. But yeah, I said I was going to ride with Vegas until they lose, but I take that back because they're playing Toronto Ultra in the next matchup, and they're going to get the floor wiped with them. I think Attach might still be able to give us a 1 KD, but they're going to lose 3-0. I don't even see a world where they could take a map off of Ultra because Ultra are just worlds ahead of them, in my opinion. And it's 97% Ultra, by the way, according to the fans.
Yeah, I'm going Ultra as well. I don't think it'll be close, honestly. I'm going 3-0 as well. They had a hard fought victory against Miami, but they're turning around to play Ultra, the best team in the league, and it's not going to be close.
I'll give them a map win. I'll go 3-1. I'll go 3-1 Toronto. I do realistically believe that Toronto will win this 3-0. but I like Attach, and he always finds a way to kind of make things interesting, even when things shouldn't be interesting. So, for that reason, I'll give him a map. I have no reason to give him a map other than that reason. So, I hope Dylan proves me right.
I like it. Next up, we have OpTic Texas versus LAG in our Monster Energy game. It's 95% fan predictions in the way of OpTic. I'm going 3-0 OpTic. I'm just going to keep it quick. I just think OpTic are better in every mode, and Gorillas look a little shaky right now. So give me the sweep.
I'm on that boat with you. Give me OpTic 3-0.
Yep.
No questions
Nothing
asked.
really needed to be said. Yep.
All right, I like that. And then last match of the day is the LA Thieves versus the Miami Heretics. 70% going the way of Miami currently in the votes. If one of you wants to go first, feel free, because I'm still deliberating.
I think I'm gonna go Miami 3-1. What reason? I don't know. I just think overall, Miami has proven that they can compete with the top teams. They've been really inconsistent, but theoretically, I don't see why they should be losing to Thieves at all. So for that reason, I'm gonna just take Miami 3-1. I think Thieves will sneak out like the control, but overall, I think Miami just wins 3-1.
I don't like this matchup at all. Literally. Is there a way that these teams tie? Like, I don't think either one of these teams win in this series.
No one deserves a win.
Reluctantly, I suppose for the first time in a very long time, I am thinking Thieves.
Wow.
I'll take LAT 3-2. A very scrappy 3-2. But I do think that for the first time in a while, they win a hard point to send them to a map 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think eventually they're going to win a hard point. I think it could be against a vulnerable Miami team like this. And I think if they get it to that map 5, they're gonna clutch up and win a map 5. So we'll put them on the board. I'll give them a very, very cannot be understated how much of a must win this is. A must win 3-2 for LAT.
This one is hard because, like, I think realistically, Heretics is the better team, although they are very inconsistent. And this is a new LA Thieves team, which showed me in one series that they're not any better than they were. And Miami's also a solid hardpoint team. Like, they're actually pretty competent at HP. I mean, I think my plan here is I'm gonna put myself in a win-win situation. I'm going Miami 3-2 because even if I'm wrong in my pick'ems, that means the Thieves win. So it's a win-win for me either way. Either my pick'ems right or the Thieves get a dub. So I'm gonna hedge it so I can have some sort of happiness on Saturday night to some extent. But it is a must-win, like Preston said. They need to win this. I hope in some miracle of a way they pull this out. They win in HP or something. But I just, I can't really bet on them too much. Then we go to Sunday, Ravens versus Surge. One of the battles of the toilet bowl, I guess, right now, currently in this season. 64% of fans are voting the way of Carolina. What are you guys thinking for this one?
I think I'll go. Yeah, I still think Carolina win this 3-1. I think yeah, I'll do 3-1. I'll do Carolina 3-1. Again, they showed some promise against New York. They showed not that much promise against Boston, but I just think right now they're still the better team than Surge, especially after them dropping their best player. So yeah, I'm going Carolina 3-1. I don't know what map Surge is going to win, but they'll win one of them. I don't know.
I'll go Carolina 3-2. Seattle was one of the better S&D teams in the league before they got rid of one of the best S&D players in the league. So I now think that their bread and butter game mode, they're going to struggle in severely. But I don't think that they are bad enough as a core 4 to the fact where they will lose every single map to especially lower echelon teams like Ravens. So they're still going to make series scrappy. I just don't see them winning one for a long time because they got rid of the best S&D player. So I will go Game 5 win for Carolina. I think that series is going to be ugly for both sides. But I think it'll be a little less ugly for Carolina.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Surge have to win eventually, right? Like I just think eventually they're gonna win. Like their first win with Resi is gonna come at some point. The last time these two teams played each other was almost a month ago. Surge won in a game 5, and that was obviously with Illy on the team. And considering Ravens were able to take them to a game 5 when they had Illy, I'm gonna give Ravens the victory this time around. Like we're saying, they're lost their best SND player by far. So I'm going to go 3-1 Ravens. Exactly what Alex said. I don't know what map Surge is going to win, but I think they're good. I think they're, I don't even want to say good enough. I think they're close enough in skill to Ravens to at least take a map. So I'll go 3-1 Ravens. Then we have Boston versus Minnesota, which is surprisingly very close to 50-50. 56% of people are voting Rocker. So Rocker very slightly favored despite being a confirmed top 4 team in most people's eyes. Who do you guys have for this one? Because I could see an argument either way.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so close. I mean, as I said, Rocker have clearly proven that they're the fourth best team in the league right now. So I'm taking them 3-1 over Boston. I think Boston will actually no, I'm going 3-0 Rocker. I'm going 3-0 Rocker.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it'll like again, they're clearly the fourth best team right now. They're good enough to take Toronto to a game 5 and almost win. You know, they're really good. They're really good on land. They started off really bad, but they got really good all of a sudden. So I'm taking Rocker 3-0.
I'm gonna go Rocker 3-2. I have a lot of faith in this Breach team, but I think that Minnesota's just better right now. They are consistently playing the top teams, and we've only seen one series against a struggling Ravens for Boston. So I'm going to give Minnesota the benefit of the doubt, and I think that they will clutch up a game 5. Their S&D has not looked great, so that concerns me for Minnesota because if you're going to go far in tournaments, your S&D has to be at worst good. At worst good. You can't have an average or lower S&D if you're planning on making a deep run. So I think maybe that they will eventually figure it out, and I think this could be a good start to maybe figuring out that game mode. I'll take them in a game 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna split it down the middle. I'm gonna go Rocker 3-1. I mean, I think this new look Boston team is a bit better than they were, and I think they're probably, maybe a top 6, top 7 team based off of last week because literally the bottom half of the league all pretty much lost their matches. So like Breach winning inevitably has to jump up. But I still think Rocker are definitely a tier or 2 above them. So I'll go 3-1 Minnesota. And then our last match of the weekend, another Monster Energy double point match. We have a little bit of a classic here. New York versus FaZe. I'm going to start it off. I'm going bold. I'm going FaZe 3-0. I think New York have shown they're very shaky, and I think FaZe have shown they're not shaky unless they're playing Toronto. So I think FaZe can kind of beat them in every single game mode. New York's best mode is SND, and FaZe is really good at search and destroy. So I just think FaZe matches up well against them, and fundamentally, like we were saying, FaZe is very fundamental, and New York seems to be lacking that. So I'm going to go 3-0 FaZe, although I do think it'll be like a close 3-0, and I like close maps.
Yeah, I'm gonna go FaZe 3-1. I'm gonna give Subliners a map. For some reason, they always play FaZe really close. Even back to like last year. I think most of their series were like 3-2. Given it's a different Subliners team, but regardless, I think FaZe is still gonna win it pretty dominantly. I think Subliners may squeak out like I don't know the control maybe. But other than that, yeah, I don't see them winning this series at all.
Oh, I see it on his
Ah.
face.
Dude, I actually don't want to, but I feel like I have to.
Do you really though?
After all you were saying about how New York is not fundamental and all
I
this
wish
stuff.
it was literally anyone else. I wish it was literally anyone else. It had to be FaZe. Surely it had to be FaZe.
Hey man, trust your
I'm
gut.
gonna go 3-2 New York.
Okay, I kind
I
of like
I
that.
I think that there's absolutely no reason in the world that New York should win this series. But like I said, in the back of my head, I am not doubting these guys enough to the point where they can't win series that they shouldn't. They just did it. They just did it this weekend. They shouldn't have won that Carolina series, and they did somehow. They looked horrible, and they somehow won. So I don't know. FaZe is not a team that loses series that they shouldn't. And they're both so good at S&D. I mean, realistically, right, this shouldn't be an underdog pick for me, but it is. This is going to be my weekly underdog. I just think that if New York can get it to that map 5, there is a very good chance that they can win this series. There's a very good chance. Their S&D is good enough. They are one of the few S&D teams in the league right now that I can comfortably say could beat FaZe in an S&D and not be like, oh, there's no chance. I don't know. I mean, they probably have to win control, and I would guess they have to win one of the hard points. I don't see them winning both S&Ds. FaZe is too good at S&D to lose both S&Ds in a series. So I would say they have to win control and one of the hard points. And if they can do that, I don't know. The more I think about this, the more I hate it. So just move on. I'm going 3-2 New York. I don't really have any other explanation. I just like being different on one of them, and this is going to be it. Even though it's double points, and this is how I get smoked every single week in qualifiers. So
It's not a bad one to be different on because like New York is obviously a good team, but also like
it's
you're playing
FaZe, man.
FaZe. So I don't know. I mean, upsets are hard to come by, so I respect the effort for sure.
Whatever. It'll be 3-0 FaZe in 25 minutes.
All right. Well, those are our pick'ems. Let us know in the comments if you think any of those pick'ems are absolutely absurd. Probably the last one we just talked about, but next up, I want to play a little game we have yet to play on the show. I don't really have a name for this. It's just basically I have 5 players, 5 all-time Call of Duty players. I'm going to give you their 5 names, and you guys have to rank them from most to least major wins. Obviously, without looking it up, of course, because that would be cheating. So I'm going to give you the 5 guys, and then you rank them, 1 being the most, 5 being the least major wins. All right, so your 5 guys.
Question.
Go for it.
I need to preface before we start. Are we counting online COD as majors?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
Yes.
Just wanted to ask. Okay.
All right. So your 5 guys, I don't know if you want to write this down and I can always repeat them, but your 5 are Gunless, Envoy, Study, Slacked,
oh Jesus,
and Doug Sensor Martin. Those are your 5. How do you think they would rank from 1 being the most major wins to 5 being the least major wins?
Okay. Well,
and if you want to make your own list, or if you want to agree on a list, it's up to you guys.
What do you want to do? You want to work together? Or you want to go against each other?
Yeah. Now let's work together. Let's work together here.
I can tell you that Sensor has 4. The amount of times I hear this guy saying I'm a 4-time champion is absolutely sickening. So without me looking, Sensor has 4. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I can probably think of the amount that Envoy has, off the top of my head. He's got 2 with Huntsman, none with OpTic Chicago, none with Gen.G. They didn't win. They got to a final, but they didn't win. So there's 2 all the way up until the end of Cold War. Vanguard, he won Major 4 in finals, so there's 4. He won 1 last year with LAT. There's 5, and he just won 1. That's 6. So he should be 6.
I don't know if the wiki updated his last win. I don't know if they updated. I don't think they did.
Well, if they have 5 for him, it's wrong. It should be 6. I just cooked.
They do have 5 for him.
Oh,
So okay, so then it's still fine. It's still fine. You can still
okay.
still do your thing.
All right. I'm not going to be able to tell you how many studies he has. I'm sorry. I mean, God love the guy, but I can't think of that.
Sorry, Steph.
Who else we got? We got Gunless. Okay.
He was like
Gunless has one on United and IW.
yes.
And what was after IW? World War II. Oh my God, he's got like 1,000 of them on Rise Nation. Holy shit. Okay.
I think he has.
He's got at least 2 on Rise, surely. I mean, they were frying.
Yeah, I think he has 4, if I'm not mistaken.
It's got to be
At least 4, if I'm not mistaken.
at least 4. Yeah. It has to be
3 or 4. 3 or 4. 3
or 4 is probably money for Pierce. Okay. What else? He didn't win anything in Cold War. Was he even playing in Cold War? Yeah, Wait, what team was he on in Cold War?
Right? Was
Yeah,
this,
no,
that's
they
the-
didn't win.
he
Yeah,
was
they
playing
didn't
with
win
Jonathan?
anything. Yeah, hell no. Okay, yeah, they did not win anything. Okay. Cold War, and then Vanguard was the LAG year. They won, but not with him. And then last year.
Wait.
What?
Was he on that LG team in Black Ops 4 with Formo and they won?
They didn't win.
I could have swore they won.
No, they didn't win it. They did not win the event. I mean,
I might be tweaking, but I feel like he did win.
Wait. Yeah, they beat Splice, Major 2. No, you're right. You cooked. For sure you cooked.
They did.
Wait,
They did. They did.
Yeah. Hold on, but wait. Yeah, because that was was he on the team? That was the Classic with the scar that everybody got GA'd immediately after, because Classic was absolutely horrible at that game. And then he used that scar for the one tournament, and he absolutely fried the entire tournament. He got GA'd immediately after. But was he on that team? What was that original roster?
It was Formal, Slacked,
John,
and him.
Classic and Gunless. Okay, yeah. Okay, wait. You cooked. Yeah. Because they picked up Brack and Skies later.
Yeah.
For Classic and John. Okay, wait. Holy. Okay, wait. So does that make him 4 or 5?
5? We'll give him 5. I think he has more than Doug.
Okay. All right. You know what? For the benefit of Pierce, we'll give him 5. I think it's at least 4, if not 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we got Slacked. He's got like probably 10. Sensors 4, Envoy 6. We're guessing Pierce is either 4 or 5. So we'll put him 5 just to put him in between Sensor and Envoy, so we don't have multiple. So right now we got 4, 5, 6. So now it's just Study and Slacked. I don't think Study.
I genuinely don't know how many Study has.
I don't think Study won that many events. I'm gonna be honest. He was nasty, but I don't think his team won that many events. Slacked, on the other hand, he's won some events for sure.
He's won.
Slacked won on Rise Nation and Black Ops 3. He won on LG and IW. He won on LG in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
He won on LG in Black Ops 4 that we just talked about. So there's already 4. Oh my God, wait, we forgot Pierce. MW19. What team was Pierce on? Oh my God, Huntsman. Oh my God. We forgot him on Huntsman. Dude, we just trolled.
It's because he was subbed out for Preston.
But they won one. They won one with him though.
London,
for sure.
London. They won London.
So he's got 5. He's got 5. Okay. All right. My bad, Pierce. Damn.
Was it
okay?
London?
Wait.
They won something.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it was London.
Yeah. They beat Dallas in London. Yes. Yeah. They beat Dallas in London. Okay. All right. So we're gonna lock Pearson at 5. IW, World War II 2, Black Ops 4.
Wait,
MW19.
Wait, Pierce at 5 for like
5 wins. 5 wins.
Okay.
Tournament wins.
No. At 5, I was gonna be like, whoa.
And then Slacked was on that Seattle team in MW19. They did not win anything that year.
No.
Okay, so if Slacked has the most, which he probably does based on this, it's because he won a lot in AW and Black Ops 3, and I didn't watch. So, dude, I can tell you right now that Rise Nation team in Black Ops 3 was gross.
Yeah.
Was gross. So I'm going to say that they won probably twice minimum.
We'll give him twice. We'll give him twice.
So we'll say 2 for Slack that year. And then IW, they definitely won one. Yeah, I remember they won one. And then
Yeah, because it was
what
that
was
team
after that?
with
World War
Saint
II,
and Octane.
LG won one, so that's 4. And then Black Ops 4, they won one, so that's 5. And then what was after Black Ops 4?
I don't think he won after Black Ops 4. It was NW20.
No. Yeah, okay. Jeez. So he's got 5 minimum. He has to have 5 minimum. But there's definitely some in there that we are forgetting or I wasn't even around to know. So
Honestly, my brain cannot remember that far back.
How
Being so dead ass.
how long has Slack been playing, man? Because he could be playing like pre.
For a
What
while.
Ghost? Did he win anything?
his
Early
first
since
event was MW3.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, we are
those
so
count?
shocked.
Do those count? Do those wins count?
If you won, yeah. I mean, if it's
Alright,
considered a pro
alright.
tournament.
All right, look. All right, look. I think we go, in my opinion, Slacked,
Agreed.
Envoy,
Okay.
Gunless, Sensor, Study.
I like that.
All right. In 5th place with 2 major wins, it is Jeremy Steady.
Okay.
In
all right,
4th place with 4 major wins, it is Doug Sensor Martin.
Oh,
Okay.
In 3rd place, and this, I mean, I guess this is my bad / CD, the COD Esports Wiki's bad, but Envoy and Gunless are actually tied with 6. I originally thought Envoy had 5 because that's what it said on the page, but I totally forgot they just won. So technically, you're right either way, no matter how you wanted to put that. They both have 6 wins.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
Slacked is at number 1 with 7.
Nice.
Okay.
So you guys are right.
We cooked.
You
We
cooked.
cooked.
You did it.
I
You
like that.
did it. Good job.
Damn, I had
good
to.
recollection. You guys are
That's
throwing
it.
back. Well, good work. Either way, you got it right. So great job.
W. Shout out Envoy for winning this tournament. That just really gave us the win right there. Shout out Dill, man.
Oh man. All right. Now we're gonna play some Who Would You Rather again. We haven't played Who Would You Rather in a few weeks at this point. So we're gonna play Who Would You Rather, and this is gonna be Sib edition. So who would you rather, Sib versus said player? And your first one is going to be Draza. Who would you rather have on your team?
I think I'm going with Draws, honestly. I think that was shown coming into this offseason. Jaws was probably like the number 1 flex that everyone was after. I know Scrap was the name thrown in there, but we all knew Scrap was staying on Toronto no matter what. So, and there was a reason why everyone wanted Draws, either to OpTic or to FaZe, is because he was the number 1 flex. So I'm going Draws.
Yeah, I'm going Draws. I don't think that should be a big surprise to anyone, really. World champion, SMD phenom. So the guy grinds. He's a go getter. If he wants something, he's gonna grind hard to achieve it. And it's somebody that you want on your team, even though he's not. He's very hit or miss liked by the community. So I'll take Draws.
Yeah, I'm going Draws too. I mean, I don't think there's a lot that needs to be said. I mean, obviously, I was gonna say obviously Draza has more wins, but like, who really cares? I definitely think Draza is more consistent. I think he's just overall a little bit better. I think Sib's inconsistency is what drags him down a little bit for me. The second guy up is Quavo Ken. Who would you rather have, Sib or Kenny?
Give me the Jedi. Give me that Jedi Kenny. I mean, what he's doing right now on OpTic, I know a lot of people, after we found out that Draws wasn't going to go to OpTic, a lot of people wanted Sib to come, including me, honestly. I wanted Sib to come and reunite that duo with Pred. But just what Kenny's been doing for this team, what he's shown, the plays that he makes for this team, I mean, he's just playing out of his mind right now. So I'm going Kenny.
Yeah, I'll go Ken too. I think that what he brings is, it's irreplaceable. Only so many people in the league can bring what he brings to a team. So those are the types of things that you need to win. And not only that, but he's absolutely frying right now. So he's doing all of that while being one of the best. So I'll take Ken. And, there's only so many kills on the map, and you already have a better version of Sib and Dashy on your team. So I'll take Ken.
This might be surprising, but I'm gonna go with Sib. Nah, I'm
hate you,
just
Jake.
playing.
I
I'm
hate you.
just playing. Give me Ken
I
all
was
day.
I
Nah.
was about to
Nah,
say.
give me Kenny all day. I mean, obviously in MW3, this guy, Kenny, has just been on another level. And then even career-wise, Kenny's obviously on a whole nother level than Sib. It's just Ken 100% of the time over Sib in my mind. Next up, we have Diamond Con, a guy who's having maybe a little bit of an underrated year, probably a more consistent year, I would say, than Sib. But for me, I'm going to go Sib still. I think Sib just has a much higher upside. Although Diamond Con, like I said, has been very consistent. Like he's been 1.05, 1.1 almost every single series. He's also doing it on a team on LAG where maybe there's more kills to go around than somewhere like New York. So even though the consistency might be there on the side of Diamond Con, I'm still gonna lean Sib.
Yeah, I'm going Sib as well. I do have to give Diamond his roses. He's been probably the best player on LAG. I know recently he's had some slumps, but I still think Sib overall has a higher ceiling um, and a higher floor than Diamond does. So for that reason, I'm going Sib.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sip too. I am a big fan of Diamond Con, and I really want to see what he can do on a team that is better than LAG. I would love to see him on like a Ravens for fellow
Wow,
or
that would actually be kind of fire.
a
LA Thieves.
yeah, seriously, LAT, somebody that could use some firepower. Because I really think that he can shine, and I think he has a very high ceiling. But
Seattle.
like
Imagine
Alex said,
Seattle.
ooh,
If they could
yeah,
get him on
see,
Seattle, that could be kind of nice.
see. Now you're talking. See,
Now
that's
you're
exactly
cooking.
what they need. They need some kills. See, that's what I'm talking about. I just think that Sib's floor is higher, like Alex said. So I'll go for Sib. And when you're talking pure Slayer ability head to head, I still think you got to give it to Sib. Even though Diamond has impressed me this year, I still think you got to give it to Sib.
Absolutely. All right. And the last one on the list, I mean, I had to save this one for last. I think this is by far the most storylined one we could have. Sib or Priesta? Who would you rather
Mm.
have?
Spicy.
I mean, I think for me, there's two answers. I'll give them both, but I'm gonna pick one at the end. I think if you're going simply off of I have no players on my team and I need to build a team, I'm taking Sib.
Agreed.
But if I am picking a player to fit on a team that's already constructed, I'm probably going Priesta. And then obviously in the case of New York, I'm going Priesta. So in terms of my final answer, I'm gonna say P Dog. I just think we've only seen not that much of Sib, I guess, on New York in comparison to what we saw last year with Priesta a whole season. But I mean, Priesta is just that guy, man. This dude knows how to win. He makes the right plays. He's willing to sit back and let his teammates be the star. And I think that's a very valuable intangible that you can bring onto your team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Priesta too. I think if you're taking a player to start a team, you want a player that knows how to win. And Priesta has won, what, 5 times in the last 5 years? Something insane like that.
5 or 6.
So
Yeah.
the guy consistently does it. Maybe even 6, to be honest. 6 times in the last 5 years. The guy consistently wins. He finds ways to win. And Dante's going on his 3rd year and still only has 1 win. So, there's levels, right? Like, you gotta build a team that has players of Dante's caliber where he can just take over games and just do stuff wherever he wants. But you also have to have players that have the winning mentality. It's like another Kenny, right? Just does the right things and puts his team in the best spots. I'm taking Priesta, and if I'm New York, I'm definitely taking Priesta.
Mhm.
There's a reason why everyone called New York faded for dropping Priesta and picking up Sip. And it's kind of been showing lately in some of the matches. So I'm going Priesta. I mean, as Preston said it beautifully, there's a difference between a player who can just slay out and be that superstar, and there's a player who can bring that winning mentality to your team, which is what 100% of the teams are trying to do. They're trying to win. We get it. There's those flashy plays that everyone has, but at the end of the day, if you're not winning, you're not winning.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure. No, I don't want to say that because I'm probably gonna be wrong. But I'm going Preston overall. I'm going Preston over.
Very nice. Clean sweep for Priesta. We love you, P-Dog. Come on the show. All
Yeah.
right. But so that does it for Who Would You Rather. And I have one more thing I want us to discuss before we get into community questions. And I don't know if you guys saw my tweet that I put out today. I also put out a poll on YouTube. And I asked, where do you rank Dashy all time? And the poll options were top 20, 30, 40, or 50. And I mean, let me refresh this just to be sure. Right now on Twitter, there's 196 votes. 51% rank Dashy top 20. And this is almost identical to YouTube, by the way. And YouTube has almost 300 votes, so it's a little bit bigger sample size. But half the people are ranking Dashy top 20 all time. 30% are ranking him top 30. 9% top 40, and 11% top 50. So I wanted to pose you guys the question. And obviously, this is off the top of the dome. We didn't make a list, so there could be some fluctuations in here. But where would you rank Dashy all time?
I think personally, I love Dashy. I'm a huge Dashy fan. And anybody that tells anytime that OpTic needs to get rid of Dashy, I will sit there until I'm blue in the face defending that would be absolutely fated if they got rid of him. I just don't really think there is a way for anybody to argue that he is currently top 20 with only 2 championships. Genuinely. I don't.
You better be careful.
Listen. I don't like hearing that at all, and that sucks to say, but it's true. I do believe he's top 30. I do. I don't think he stoops below top 30. I just don't. I think there's 20 people that career-wise have a better career than he does. Now, that sucks because he should have a much better career than he does currently at this moment, but reality is what it is, and he doesn't. I do believe that this team will maybe change that aspect for him, and maybe he will get some more tournament wins under his belt, and then he'll start bumping up some notches on the top 30, top 20, whatever you want to call it. But he doesn't have a ring, and he has 2 tournaments over 7 years of professional play. So to put him in the top 20, I think would be it would be a testament to his skill, but it would be a disservice to people who have done more in their time span.
Yeah. If we're going off Gunny, he's top 10 for sure. Maybe top 5. But I think overall, I agree with Preston. I'm going top 30. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, him and Kenny came in at the same time during World War II, and Kenny has a lot more championships and a ring. So it's kind of hard to compare. Trust me, I love Dashy. Every time people say that Dashy needs to be dropped, I always call him faded. I mean, you just don't drop a player of his caliber, especially after all he's done for the team. Yes, people will say, "Oh, he should have more tournament wins with the teams that he's had, playing with Scump, Crim Six, TJ, all this other stuff." The amount of teams that he's had, theoretically he should have more championships. But again, COD is a team sport. It's not just on one player. So just for that, I think top 30 would be good. If he wins a lot more, this season, and if he's still playing until next season, which I hope he does, then we can definitely start having that conversation of top 20. If he wins a ring, maybe we can start having a conversation, maybe top 15. So, yeah.
Man, OpTic fans, you guys better get your boys. They were all voting top 20 on Twitter, and you guys are already talking about top 30. That's just unbelievable.
No, listen, I understand it, right? The guy is gross. The guy is nasty. One of the best shots in the league. One of the best shots in COD history. He's nasty. But for me, I am making a top 30 list. It is built off of winning. That is what teams want to do. They want to win. Oh, and there goes my light.
Oh my God.
Listen.
Earthquake.
Listen, that's what teams want to do. They want to win, right? So how can you put a guy that has 2 championships above players that have 5 or more. You can't, in my opinion. And I mean, like Alex said, look at Kenny, man. Kenny's almost at double digits. And Kenny's another ring away from top 10, in my opinion. I mean, he slots into that top 10 comfortably if he gets a second ring. So, I mean, there's 2 different levels. He's gross, and talent-wise, he is for sure top 20, and I will die on that hill. I do not care. But I'm not taking a top 20 list and I'm making it off talent. I'm taking a top 20 list and I'm making it off of hardware. And that's the one thing that he lacks right now.
Yeah.
Well said, Preston. Well said.
I think for me, if I had to think off top of my head, I probably have him top 40. There's well over 50 guys with more wins than him in COD history. So if I'm going to put him over 20, 25 guys that have more wins than him, it's going to be because of how good he is and the MVPs he's won and that type of hardware, which I think needs to be taken into account, obviously, when you're making a top list. So for me, he's probably like top 40. He's probably somewhere between like 30 and 35, honestly. But I mean, like you guys just said, there's not a lot more I can say. He has 2 wins. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys with more than that. But he has the individual talent. He has the MVPs to sort of back up that skill, which I think, pushes him up over some guys who might have 3 or 4 wins. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Where do you have Dashy? Most people have him top 20, so we're in the minority now. But yeah, let's end it off with a couple community questions, and then we can wrap up the show. The first one I want to talk about, and this is when I said earlier, we talk more about the LA Thieves. Slayer SXT asked on Twitter, do you think LAT has a chance at making champs this year? And he goes on to say, basically, if they do poorly in Major 2, are their chances gone? And then if you make a roster change, who would you replace? We don't have to touch too much on that aspect of it, more or less can they make champs, especially if they do bad at Major 2? I took the liberty to do a little bit of math. I would guess that in order to make top 8, you're going to need probably more than 180 CDL points, close to 200 CDL points by the end of the season. Thieves are at 20 right now, so pretty far away from that number. I just took what was currently in 8th place, which is like LAG with 50 points, and multiplied it by like, I don't know, like we're like 70% of the season left, something like that. So I just did a little bit of basic math. So they have 140 possible points they could win from online matches if they were to go. This is imagining they get nothing from the rest of Major 2. If they went 7-0 Major 3, 7-0 Major 4, it's 140 points. And then top 6 is 30 more points. Top 4 is 45 more points. So realistically speaking, what do you guys think? If Thieves do shit at Major 2, which is looking likely, especially given the schedule they have, is there any way they make champs?
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go first. I'll say yeah. I
love that.
I'll break it down this way, right? Right now, they look chucked. It's the way that it is. But there's typically one team each year that looks like the season is over for them, and then as the season goes on and on, it just looks better and better and better, and they somehow squeeze a way to making champs. Look at New York in Vanguard. There was not a chance anybody thought that they were making champs come Major 2, and then they make an absolute miracle run, they make it, and they got better as the year went on. I think that they are one more move away from being a solid team. I don't think this team will be the one that sticks, but I like their chances of them consistently winning over the likes of Seattle, over the likes of Legion, over the likes of maybe even a Miami or a LAG or a Carolina. I like all of their chances over those 5-ish teams. So I truly believe that if there's a team that's going to make a run to get their 8th spot, it will be this team. Even if they have a rough split, because this is a rough split for them. There's no way around it. They're playing the 4 best teams in the league right now. They already played one, they lost. It wasn't close. So it's going to be rough. They just have to take advantage of what's given to them, like the Legion match, like the Heretics match. And next split, that's much easier for them. You got to take what's given to you. If you can make the best out of what's given to you, anything can happen. When it comes to the major, they're more than likely going to be in losers. They got to make some sort of run. They can't go out top. They can't go out top 12. They're more than likely going to play a team that they arguably could beat in losers, unless by some unforsaken reason a top team gets upset and they get thrown into the losers bracket and LAT is who plays them. There's no reason they couldn't beat a team top 12 to at minimum get top 8, which gives them another 10 points. So there's chance. I'm not selling out on them quite yet. If they drop a goose egg and then they start major 3 off slow, I'm done. But
Yeah, I'm done too, man.
I'm not giving out hope on them just yet.
Yeah, let's not forget who the team was that started off completely shit during Vanguard, and then ended up winning a ring at the end of that season.
We're gonna win a ring this season. Yeah, I like the way you're thinking.
I don't know about that. Let's think about it a little bit. But I mean, yeah, I still think theoretically that they can. Again, they're a very young team with very low floor, but they can get up there with a good high ceiling if they can put it all together. Truthfully, I don't. Yes, they're at the bottom, but I can see them getting up to that 8th place. Beating LAG and all the other bottom teams to get there. They just need to have a good run at the major, and they don't even have to win. They just have to play well enough to get top 6, get top 4 every now and then, get top 5 just to get up there. Because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, LAN wins count more towards your points, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, at least it's weighted. It's weighted somehow.
Yeah. So if they could put a nice little top 4, top 5, top 6, run at some of these majors, pretty sure they can do it. I'm pretty sure they can do it. Get that 8 seed. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. They just have to really put it together. And there's no one I trust more than that coaching staff that, again, had to go through those thousands of changes during Cold War and then Vanguard to put that team together to win the championship, other than Shane and JCap. So I have full confidence in that.
Yeah, it's too early to count them out. I think, because especially given how hard Major 2 qualifiers are for the team, that means Major 3 and 4 qualifiers should be a little bit easier. But at the end of the day, they are the worst team in the game. So, sure, it's easier, but every team's looking at you as an easy match. So it's kind of a give and a take there. But, if they're able to win 50% of their online matches going forward, they win 7 out of 14 in Major 3 and 4 quals, maybe make a top 6 run at a major. It's possible, right? It obviously, you have to hope that other teams like the LAGs, like the Miamis, like the Legions kind of do bad, because if they do good too, then you're really screwed no matter how well you do, unless you go out and win an event or something. So I think it's definitely too early to count them out. But ask me in a couple weeks and I'll probably have a much better answer, because if this team doesn't win a goddamn hard point, if they don't win a hard point before Major 2, genuinely, don't even come to Major 3 qualifiers. Let's just forfeit.
They're going to win a hard point.
Let's just
forfeit.
They're just going to Neslo their way through.
No, they're going to
win the ring at the end of the season. They're going to
I'm not going to say they're going to win them consistently, but they're going to win hard point.
They got to, they got to win. They got to get to the point where they can win 1 out of every 3 hard points. Все something. Give me something.
They're beating Miami in a hard point this weekend.
I hope so. All right. So we'll end it off. One last question. I think this is perfectly in line with President's Day being this last weekend, and also Breaking Point had a tweet about this, but conveniently Haraja on Twitter submitted this question a while back, and we still have it on the archives. Who is on your COD Pro Mount Rushmore? He words it as COD Pro, so I'm guessing this means people who obviously played professionally. I would have Hex on my Mount Rushmore every day of the week, but I guess if we're talking about strictly players, I'll take Hex off for the sake of this, but he would be on there in my opinion.
I mean, is it all time or just currently playing?
No, all time. COD Pro Mount Rushmore.
I mean, my opinion, you're an OpTic fan. I'm going to Dynasty. I mean, is there literally anyone other than those 4? I mean, I'm pretty sure you can squeeze Nade in there and stuff like that. But
To make a
overall,
little
I mean,
fifth head on the side, a little small one.
yeah, just like put him like on Scump's forehead or something. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, I'm going those four. I mean, those are. I mean, I'm pretty sure undoubtedly Scump and Krim are up there for everyone. Karma, I mean, he's the only other than Clay, the other person that has 3 rings, and then Formo is probably the greatest of all time FPS player of all time, in my opinion. So I'm going those four, in my opinion. Again, optic bias, whatever. I don't care.
Wow, that's brutal. I don't. Oh. All right. Well, I'll tell you this much: Scump has to be a lock.
Agreed.
You gotta lock. You gotta lock Scump. It almost feels like you gotta lock.
You gotta lock Krim.
You gotta lock Krim and Karma because, I mean, they're just both 3 rings. Did absolutely insane amount of things for the scene. 2 of the goats. And then
Imagine he says censor, Doug.
no.
Doug
See, but it would be between like Nade Shot or Formal for me for the 4th one. And I Formal's one of the best FPS players of all time, but Nade's like the COD father. So I think it would be a disservice for him not to be on Mount Rushmore, to be honest. I might just like throw curveball and throw neither one of them in there just to make me feel better about my decision.
I mean, I thought someone put like a few like the OG like Big T, Merc, and Rambo in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's.
Those are like,
I mean,
the COD grandfather.
Yeah, well, those are OGs, but I'm talking like Nade's like the OG. I'd probably go Nade Shot, to be honest. That feels wrong for Matt, but I mean, the guy does it in another esport, so I'll put him in the Halo esports and I'll feel better about myself. He can go on the Halo Mount Rushmore. I'll feel better about myself. So I'll give it to Nade.
Yeah, it's tough, right? I think for me, like when I think of Mount Rushmore, I typically think of like influence. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the presidents that are on Mount Rushmore, it's not. I mean, I guess it's hard to judge who's the best presidents, right? There's no stats. There's not really a lot of stats you can go on. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I'm not into politics like that. So, but you look at the guys that are on there, and they're like guys that had major influence on the United States as a whole. So for me, Scump and Nade are absolute locks. They are the 2 biggest faces, 2 biggest growth drivers for the scene by far, in my opinion. Then I think Krim has to be on there as the winningest player. I think like it's only right. 3 rings, 38 wins, whatever it is, definitely has to be on there. And the last spot is really one of those that's up. You could look at Karma, the only guy to win 3 rings on LAN. Let
me guess. You're going Clay.
Actually, I'm still debating because I'm almost thinking of going with Rambo. I think Rambo is a good shout because he did it as a player, he did it as a coach, and a lot of players, including Scump, credit him as their godfather.
Agreed.
And the fact that the guy was able to influence so many great players to get into the scene like that, or to kind of take them under his wing, I think is actually really influential on the scene. But like Crowder, obviously, is another guy who did it as a player, did it as a coach, could be looked at as a godfather for maybe a lot of the newer guys too. I think I might give it to Rambo Ray over there. He's maybe become a bit of a meme recently, but a lot of people, I guess, who have been around not in the early days don't know about what he did as a player and all the different things that he was able to influence. But I also think Big T is a good shout because that guy is one of the early GOATs as well.
Are you talking about that bowling dude, Rambo?
He follows me on Twitter. Shout out Rambo Ray.
Yeah,
Rambo, come on the pod too. Rambo and Priesta, both of you guys.
Agreed.
But yeah, I think Mount Rushmore is impossible to pick. Like, if you ask me tomorrow, honestly, it'll be different.
You really can't go wrong with any of like the faces of COD that people know about. Like, you can literally enter
Doug Censor Martin. Lock it in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure some people may have Doug on there just because how he presents himself, how big of a character he is. And, you know, shit. Some people may have Haggy on there for some reason. I don't know.
Zuma. I saw someone who had said Zuma in one of the comments, and I had a lot of likes because he really is like the face or the growth of new fans, like the new fans content side of things. I think Scump now obviously is getting into that because now he's a full-time creator again, but Zuma kind of started the flank and stuff at the perfect time for new fans to get in. So a lot of people, I saw him mentioned a bunch on that Breaking Point tweet, which I think is actually a good shout.
I think I'd put in. I'm thinking about it. I think I'd put Enable in there in my 4th spot. King with only one thumb. That's got to be worth something, right? He could go on my Mount Rushmore, and then when people ask why he's up there, I'll just say he played with one thumb, and that's all I need to know. Little thumbless. Thumbless is up on the on Mount Rushmore for me.
Love that guy.
That's the Mount Rushmore for us. Like players who've been watching it, like the COD team for a while. Like I'm pretty sure, like for new players, they may put Simp. They may put a Beezy, because that's like who they watched. You know, that's fair enough to them. If they didn't watch the OJs, that's completely fine. But like it's pretty much who you watched, who you were driven to. Like in the competitive COD team is who your go-to or your Mount Rushmore would be.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments who your Mount Rushmore is and when you started following, because that would be interesting. I'm sure Shotzi's up there for a lot of people too.
TikTok.
Speaking of stuff we've talked about already, I ironically just remembered out of the back of my head that I made a top 30 list a couple years ago.
We're gonna do a show where we all make our top 30. I think maybe Loki, we should do that for the next show, episode 10.
That's cool,
or should we save it for episode 30? No, imagine. Wait, like 3 years from now.
I'm not gonna read you my top 30, but I will say that for your question.
Yeah, where's Jeb Bruce?
Ironically, I had him at 28, so I kind of backed up what I said. And I posted this February of actually just over a year ago. So
okay,
I had him at 28. He's probably right around there still.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really changed, right? What they'd get a couple more second places last year is the only difference.
So some other people on this list have shifted. Like I would move like Envoy up some. RCD's probably down. Kenny would probably be up 1 or 2. But this list is I kind of cooked low key.
Yeah, we definitely should. We can obviously talk about it more off camera, but if we want to do it for the next episode, that could be kind of fire.
Yeah,
I'm down.
But yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap it up, boys. Any final comments for the viewers at home before we close it out?
Yeah, thanks everybody for commenting what NBA team I should become a fan of. I still have yet to make my decision.
New York Knicks.
I think I've narrowed it down to 3 teams. The Knicks is not one of them.
Oh, come on, bro. That's unbelievable.
But I have to make my decision.
Dude, I mean, look at
damn, Jay kind of thick.
Look at this old logo. Tell me you don't want to be a fan of. I mean, that's from when is that from? 46. Tell me you don't want to be a fan of that.
It looks like a
46. Wow, 46. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, old ass team.
That's the amount of kills that Afro had the entire series versus OpTic.
You didn't have that.
No way. Really?
I don't know. I think it was like fucking ass. That's how much it was.
I can check right now. Hold on. Against OpTic, he had a whopping 45 kills.
Damn. All right, good job. Good job.
That was so close.
I think that means you have to be a Knicks fan. I think that was destiny right there.
That's comedy. No, I think I'm leaning. I think I'm leaning towards the Pacers, low key. But I'm not.
Pacers.
I'm not set on anything
Indiana.
Yet.
I'm sorry if you're from Indiana, but you couldn't pick a more boring franchise to be a fan of.
I thought you were going to say like Mavs.
No, exactly. That's my point. A more boring franchise. I don't want people calling me a bandwagon or nothing, dude. I'm hopping on the
Nobody's calling you a bandwagon if you become a Pacers fan. Not a single person. Not a single one.
Exactly. It was between. Okay, listen. It's between the Mavs, the Pacers, or the 76ers, only because I'm technically from PA, even though it's not Pittsburgh. I mean,
the 76ers is a good one if you want to be heartbroken every year in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. So they're like third on my list right now.
I mean, the Mavs have Luka.
I'm a Spurs fan, so I'm gonna just butt out.
I don't know anything about basketball.
You got Wemby.
I've at least saw my team win a NBA championship when I was like 13 when they won it, when it was a trio, when the trio, Timmy, Tony, and Manu.
That's true. What was that?
2013 when they beat the Heat. Yeah.
Okay, well, I got us off topic, but I'm sorry. No, that's it. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Thank you guys for sending in suggestions and questions and all of that jazz. You guys are the best. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, go OpTic.
Yep. Again, I appreciate each and every one of y'all that supports us constantly. Comments, likes, shares your opinions, your hot takes, cold takes, whatever it is. I appreciate all of it. It definitely does not go unnoticed. And I hope that we continue to build something that is great for us. You know, we love talking about COD. We love getting y'all involved in every way possible. You know, hopefully we can do more live shows to get y'all involved a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, just shout out to everyone. Glad COD is back and we can get some matches going. And actually this weekend I can actually watch some matches without being at a conference. But yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful life. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Same thing as they all said. Thank you guys a ton. If there's seriously any feedback you have for us about how to improve this show, whether it be subject matter, editing, like literally anything that you're like, I wish they did this differently, or I wish they started doing this, let us know in the comments, because obviously we want the show to be as entertaining for you guys as it possibly can. So definitely let us know if you have feedback, but we seriously appreciate the support. And yeah, with all that being said, hopefully we'll see you next week for episode 10, possibly top 30 list, episode 10 of Around the CDL. So have a good one.
Rival is the God gun, by the way. That's all.